this is incredible. It's really an honor to be here with this is a very illustrious group of elected officials. Just to add a couple of thoughts, I know everybody here is a true believer. As I look out at what's happened in the last 3 years with Trump, I do think there are tens of millions of people who are so sick of politics and of what is happening in our country that they have looked at two options. One is you just tear it all down and you blow up the system. I remember one of the ads that Trump came into office was like the very closing argument television ad he did. He said, "I'm going to go to Washington and turn it upside down." And I think that he did. But so here's the thing about Pete Buttigieg. He also understands people's frustration with a politics and a government that is not serving them, but he has a totally different argument, which is he can go there, and I agree with what Glenn said, he offers a fresh start. My day job right now is I work at a quickly growing technology company with 400 employees, and I see what Pete is doing and this enthusiasm that he's unleashing among tens of millions of people. He is looking at the problem we have today with politics and government and society almost through the eyes of an entrepreneur. There is a problem, there's a set of solutions, and he is talking about refreshing virtually everything about how we serve people through government. And it is incredibly refreshing, that idea of a new start and a new era. And I think you see it with the policy that he's putting out there, this higher education plan that he just announced today. It's visionary, it's bold, it's specific, it's compassionate, it's thoughtful, but it's also pragmatic because he's bringing in the experience of having been a mayor. I just want to say a couple other things about him. I've known him for 15 years. We were met when he was 23 and had all these virtues everybody's talking about, and we were in the founding class of this group called the Truman National Security Project, and we stayed friends, like real friends. Kind of this person that you would trust and talk to when there's really rough times, or would give you a call when you were in statewide, and then when he became mayor, before I became mayor, when I was the mayor of Charlottesville, I reached out to him a couple times for very specific kinds of help. We needed to craft an ID program for very vulnerable immigrants and refugees in our community to feel like they were not in the shadows anymore. And they had done that in South Bend, and he took time out to connect the people we had in Charlottesville who needed to know how to set a program up. And they were like talking to people in South Bend, and we modeled the program that we did, working with churches and nonprofits on his advice on what South Bend did. And in the lead up to the horrific Unite the Right rally, which I would not wish on my worst enemy, he took time out to talk to me, and I reached out to 2 mayors of the country, and one of them was him, because I thought that he would actually understand and have some guidance and insight into what a civil unrest situation was going to be like, because he had served in Afghanistan, and he did. And just before I turn over to Don Beyer, specifically on extremism, he is one of the only candidates who is talking about domestic terrorism, the danger of violent, radicalized white nationalism in a specific way. He released a really compelling plan about extremism where he talked in detail about where the failures under the Trump administration have been, which I think did make something like Charlottesville possible, the failures at the FBI, the Department of Justice, more resources, a greater plan, and he talked about the role that social media companies have and the really toxic companies that need to be named and shamed, and he was right out there on a limb, and it was great to see him talking about not just the hope that we have to have, but the threats that we really have. So with that, I want to turn over to Don Beyer, and he probably won't say this himself, but he is if you keep on with the theme of tech companies and early investors, he sees these companies that can blow up and become these political causes, unicorns like Obama, and Congressman Beyer was one of the first endorsers of Barack Obama, and he's one of the first most prominent endorsers of Pete Buttigieg, and everything that you're seeing here is possible because people like him had the courage to get out early. So,
thank you.
Thank you.